Good afternoon, people of Facebook and the world. My name is Neil Patel. I'm going to just talk to you for a few minutes about stress, the mind, yoga, and the body. I'm in the Chikri office now with Maker over there doing her work. So I just wanted to get into this subject, and the reason why is because I get a lot of messages and emails from people talking about physical conditions that they have in their body, which are stressing them out and making them feel uncomfortable and difficult. And a lot of these conditions, I think, are coming very much from the mind. Some people are going to send in questions and notes here, so I may just jump into the questions and notes here. Hi, Lourdes. Conditions to think about in these situations are things like ulcerative colitis and IBS. IBS and colitis and these kind of colon conditions are really all the rage at the moment, unfortunately, in the health world. A lot of people are getting very sick in their stomachs, and this is very much stress related. We sometimes use the expression, I feel sick to my stomach, or I've got butterflies, or, you feel difficult things, and it interrupts with the flow of your system in your body. We know that ulcerative colitis, for example, is coming from repressed anger. So anyone who's suffering from conditions where you've got a lot of burning and heat and ulcers in the body, it's always going to come from a place where you're holding on to angers, where you're holding on to resentments, where you're holding on to bitterness towards people. So you've got to make sure that you get that stuff out of your system. Liver conditions, any conditions where there's heat or burning on the skin or itchiness of the skin, even things like eczema, even things like unnecessary amounts of adult acne, bumps coming up on the face and whatnot. This is all liver heat, and liver heat is associated directly with anger in yoga. So the first thing that I normally say to people is, look, if you're going through difficult things in your life, make sure that you're letting them out of your system. It's hugely important not to carry anger inside you. Now, me personally, I'm a big believer in God, and everybody knows that. I'm not ashamed of saying that I believe in a God, and I talk to him every day. So I think it's a great thing for people who are suffering from stress to do, is to sit down every morning and every night and pray to God and pray to the universe. I'm not preaching at you. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm telling you my experience, and I'm telling you that it works. We all need somebody to talk to. And sometimes, even if you just think it's in your mind, at least you're getting it out of your system. Because if you carry that around with you, it's going to burn your skin, it's going to burn your hair, it's going to burn your face, it's going to burn your insides, and it will eventually kill you. Now, there's an expression, anger burns the vessel it's stored in more than the vessel it's poured in. So if you're storing anger inside you or repressed emotion, the only person that is going to hurt, unfortunately, is yourself. Where yoga comes into this is that yoga is a way of de-stressing, of getting that all out of your system and clearing yourself. Biggest problem that you'll ever have in this world is not going to be what people do to you, it's what you do to yourself. It's what you're doing in your mind with the information that you're receiving. So learn to forgive. I always talk about forgiveness as being the most important medicine. And it sounds strange to think of forgiveness as a medicine, but I think of love as the greatest and healer. I'm trying to find the right word there. The greatest healing force. And if we're blocking love in our life with anger and resentment, then forgiveness is the medicine that lets it flow again. I'll say that again. If we're blocking the most important and powerful healing force in our life, which is love, with anger and resentment towards your parents, towards your family, and towards your partner, then you are going to get sick because it's the greatest healing force. But then what can you use as an antidote for that? That's the word I was looking for. An antidote for that is forgiveness. Forgiveness will unblock the love that's supposed to flow, you see? And love is the greatest healing force. So your body will get well because you're not holding on to anger. And I just said to you that anger builds up in the liver, and the liver releases toxic blood back into the body, which poisons the organs. And ulcerative colitis, for example, is an acidic condition. So the body's literally throwing up ulcers, trying to get rid of this heat out of its system. Okay? But if you go through your mind and you go through your life and you make sure that you're forgiving people as you come across situations, you're not going to build up that heat, and you're going to become more well. Now, the liver organ is the most important organ in the body. That's why it's called the live, because it makes you live. It's actually more important as a functional organ than the heart. So you want to find an organ to look after in your life, you need to look after your liver. It's going to help you to live. And that's where you store anger. So make sure that you look after your mind, your body, by meditating every day and releasing any tension that you have inside yourself. In Chinese medicine, in the Chinese system of medicine, they relate the mind and the colon as twin organs. The mind and the colon as twin organs. So that basically means that whatever is going on inside your mind will go on inside your colon. That's why you can't go toilet properly if you're stressed. Have you ever tried going to the toilet when you're stressed? You can't. And when you do go to the toilet for a number 2, it's relaxed. You have to be relaxed. That's why people read magazines in there. Or try to think happy thoughts. They just relax and let go. Because the colon gets cramped and then you get constipation. Constipation is a sign of stress. And what happens if you're not letting your sewer system go? You have many portals in your colon that re-ingest toxicity. So if you're stressed and you're constipated, you're going to re-ingest all the junk back into your bloodstream. And then that will go around your organs, and your blood being fed to your organs and your brain is all going to be junk. So you're going to feel more stressed, and then you're in a vicious cycle, a catch-22. So even on that level, being relaxed and having good bowel movements every day is going to be very important for your full-time health. I would say that next to forgiveness, probably the most important notion to have inside yourself is a sense of peace. Without peace, you'll find that you'll very, very easily become unhappy. And peace sounds like a word where, it's just peace. What does it mean? But the minute you lose peace in your life, you'll soon see the value of it. I say never give up your peace for anyone or anything. You won't even be able to eat properly. And if you're not able to eat properly and digest food properly, again, you will get sick and you will get unwell. Have you ever tried eating when you feel stressed? What happens in your body? You don't feel like eating. Your appetite immediately disappears, right? So that tells you that there's a connection between your mind and your body, because your stomach will cramp up and it will say to your mind, I don't want to eat right now because my body doesn't function when it's stressed. So not just will your appetite disappear, but all your internal organs, when you're in a fight or flight mechanism, will stop working. So if you're carrying around even a low level of stress all day, not like stomach that won't get you out of your house, but even if you're carrying a little bit of stress all day, just that little bit of pressure on your system will make your appetite weak, it will make your liver toxic, and it will make you constipated, and it will make your limbs tight, and all of that tension inside you won't help your body to function. So eliminating all the stress from your world is the most important thing to do for your body. And unfortunately, in this society, we thrive on stress because negative stress makes us work. It makes us achieve the things that we think are going to make us complete and make us happy, but end up being sick by 30, 35 with all the various illnesses that are around. Because that's the way our system is designed, is to keep pushing people and pushing people to the edge until we've sold them everything we think we need to sell them. And then when they get sick, we sell them some medicine, and it's just business, business, business all the way. No one is thinking about your levels of stress. No one is caring for how you feel about yourself deep inside. Only you are going to care about yourself, but you have to be ready to do that daily. Sleeping very well at night is most important to getting a good sense of peace inside yourself. So nightly before you go to bed, again, make sure you clear your mind. Make sure that you switch off your phone, switch off your mind, do some reading of some nice spiritual books, and then put yourself down to sleep. The human being is only supposed to sleep in sections of 3 hours. If you sleep for 3 hours, that's going to be good enough. If you sleep for 6 hours, it's going to be good enough. But if you sleep for 7, 8 hours, not going to be good enough. Your body's going to need to sleep for 9 hours. So I always suggest to people get up after 6 hours. Set your alarm for 6 hours after you go to sleep and wake up after 6 hours, whether you feel you need it more or not, and start your day. And you'll find that you'll be fine. If you sleep for 7 hours, your body's pumping dopamine and melatonin and serotonin and all these different hormones into your system. So when you wake up, you still feel tired because you're drugged out. You're drugged out with all the sleep hormones. Your body retracts them after 3 hours because you think you're ready to wake up. So don't oversleep. Oversleeping will cause sleepiness. The more you sleep, the more you're going to need to sleep. It's a drug. Yeah? And then that will make you feel stressed because you're trying to push these drugs out of your system and work, and all you're feeling is tired. So wake up 6 hours and start your day. And then if you need to meditate or relax, then close your eyes for a couple of minutes, meditate and relax, and you'll be fine. Yoga is a fantastic way of taking stress out of your body. In another way, because you stretch your joints and you squeeze the muscle and you squeeze muscle tension out of your body and disseminate it from your biological system, which is connected to your mind. So what we do is we tend to hold stress in our physical body. The first place that we hold stress is in our neck and in our shoulders. So you'll find people that are holding stress, they're very tight around the neck, head and shoulders areas. And then you'll find people that are relaxed by nature. If you touch all this area, it will be soft and relaxed because they're soft in their mind. But this tension also goes down to your hamstrings, it goes down to your thighs, it goes down to your back. And you'll find this low level of stress in the body that you're holding has started to hit into all your muscles. And actually, yoga is working in the way where it should work to relax you so that you stretch. If you ever need to force yourself into a yoga asana stretch, you're fighting yourself. The best thing to do to get to a yoga asana stretch is relax your mind. When you're stretching, forgive somebody. Next time you're trying to do a yoga stretch, think about what you're angry about or you're stressed about in your mind. And as you're stretching, let that thought go, and I promise you, you will stretch deeper. Deeper, you will stretch more. Deeper. So, think about breathing when you're doing stretching and asana practice. I would say this: take a breath in before you start your stretch, and as you exhale, forgive yourself and love yourself and forgive everyone around you, and let go of all your attachments. Let go of things in your mind while you're stretching, and you'll stretch more. That's the mind-body connection with yoga practice. Yeah? And then as you practice yoga asana more, your body is not holding on to things as much and you feel more relaxed in your mind. That's why people say when they go to yoga classes, they go home and they have a fantastic night's sleep. And the reason why is they've got rid of stress from deep inside their conscious biological being. And they just feel super relaxed. So yoga asanas is fantastic for that. The other way of relieving stress through yoga is the breathing exercises that we call pranayama. Now pranayama is two words. Prana means life current and yama means control. Why I've got three up there, I don't know. Two words. And yama means control. So when we do breathing exercises, we're controlling the life current in our body. And if we slow those breathing exercises down, like long, slow inhalations, long, slow exhalations, the current of energy in our body, in our mind and our nervous system comes down as well, and you feel more relaxed. So it pacifies the system. So to control stress in your mind, doing breathing exercises is fantastic. But the best way is always meditation. Because meditation can completely obliterate all nervous activity, apart from just the gentle ticking of the pulse and the heart to keep you going. But it can even stop the breathing completely. It can stop your muscular activity, and it can stop any tension in the body, and you go into a beautiful state of total tranquility and peace inside. And it's the most healing thing for all of your organs is to meditate once or twice a day. Meditation and forgiveness, I've mentioned two, what I would consider for myself cures for illnesses that you would never find in a bottle, in a tin, or at a chemist. Meditation and forgiveness. If you're practicing meditation and forgiveness every day, many of your illnesses will disappear, especially the ones that are to do with heat. If you're practicing yoga and forgiveness every day, conditions like acid in the body, colitis, colon problems, IBS, bad skin, these things will disappear. Poor liver functioning, poor kidney functioning, poor immunity, they will go just because you're not angry and just because you're peaceful inside. So, like I said, the pharmaceutical companies won't tell you about this because they'd rather that you shipped your body into a chemist or into the doctor's office and took some medicine because everybody's going to get paid. But they can't charge you for your forgiveness. But why are you being a sucker? Why don't you do what you can do for yourself first? And then if you need medicine afterwards, after trying everything, then take it. People these days are also suffering from a lot of high blood pressure. High blood pressure is because people are pushing themselves too hard in the wrong way to find the happiness. They're straining and they're straining and they're straining. Pushing their heart for no reason. Why you got to do that to your heart? It's the only one you're going to have. So you should do things that are going to keep your heart calm, push it every now and then, but not all day for everything, stressing, and then you're tired. And then what happens? You have to use adrenaline. So we have these things called adrenaline junkies these days. Being an adrenaline junkie is very bad for your health. Adrenaline is for emergencies. Adrenaline is for emergencies. Adrenaline gland sits on top of your kidneys. They're not very big. There's not a lot of it. It's used in case somebody is chasing you down the street to kill you and you haven't eaten and you're tired and you suddenly need a boost of energy. So you get this boost of energy. It makes you feel alive and you can run away from your murderer. That's kind of what adrenaline is for. It's for emergency situations. So when you throw yourself off a cliff with a bungee cord, you're using adrenaline up. And it feels great because you feel alive for a few moments, but you're not supposed to get your happiness by drinking adrenaline all the day, like a tot of adrenaline. Eventually what will happen, you'll be like a plane going through the sky, living on adrenaline, and it will finish and you'll just drop out of the sky and you'll be exhausted or you'll be sick. Adrenaline junkie life is not the way that a yogi lives. The yogi will find his happiness, his joy and his bliss through meditation and through being a good person. That should be enough to keep you happy. Don't be adrenaline junkie. You don't need to do it. Yeah? Be a peace junkie. Be a God junkie. Be someone who's finding their strength within themselves. But I say this for a health matter as well, because if you finish your adrenaline, you'll be working from your kidney. So this is true science. You can look into it. When you don't have adrenal power, it drains your kidneys. It drains the vital chi that's in your kidneys and your liver. And then those two organs get weak because you're now pushing to find the next fix for your excitement. And adrenaline is finished. So then your organs start to tire and then you start to become tired. You don't have the energy. You grow old very quickly. And then you will get some type of condition to do with how you've abused your mind is now affecting your body. So I suggest to you that sometimes in life it's difficult to control levels of stress because people around you are giving you stress for whatever reason. I say this, sometimes it's not possible to get away from if you're in a bad marriage or you're in a job that stresses you every day. It's difficult, but you need to work. Sometimes it's difficult to physically get away from a situation, but you can mentally be wiser. You can mentally understand the situation better. You can mentally forgive people. You can mentally be compassionate, and that will afford you peace, and that peace will afford you health. Without peace, there's no health. With health, there's always peace. So when you're trapped in a situation, always look above it and make sure that you're seeing things in the right way. You have a terrible mother. You have a bad partner. You have a brother that bullies you. You have all these things. But I say to people this, everybody has a backstory. Everybody has a backstory. You have a backstory. Thank you, Dashna. You have a backstory. Do you not think people are forgiving you every day for the things that you do by accident? You'd be surprised how compassionate people really are. I'm always so happy that people forgive me all day because I'm always making mistakes. I'm always saying the wrong thing at the wrong time. But I know people let it go because they recognize I'm human. It's because we're compassionate to each other that the world goes around. So when someone's being bad to you, difficult to you, try to understand their backstory. How did they get to that place? I personally don't think people are evil by nature. I don't think people are vindictive by nature or malicious by nature. I think people can be confused, lost, frustrated, angry, misguided, and sometimes ignorant of the truth. But I think very, very rarely I don't think I've ever met an outright evil person. I don't think I've ever met an outright evil person. I think a lot of people are confused. Now, if I think people are evil, it's going to stress me out. But if I think they're confused and they need some help, or I can feel some sympathy for them, I'm not stressed, right? So I'm not angry, so I'm not boiling my blood in a pot. And therefore my liver is healthy, my kidney is healthy, and I'm going to function better because I'm compassionate, I'm forgiving, and I'm trying to be nicer to people, to keep my health better. Remember, anger will burn the vessel it's stored in, not the vessel it's poured in. So I've got a question here from Nisha. So what if people put fault on you, even if wrongly? How would you deal with that? Well, if it's wrong, then it's wrong. If people are blaming you for things that you haven't done, you just smile a smile of compassion and you feel sympathy for them because they're wrong. It's like a child that's getting something wrong and you're angry at them for being wrong. If you know that it's wrong, the fault they've put on you, then how can you be angry at them? How can anyone be angry at anyone who's ignorant? I say to people, not in your situation, Nisha, but I say to people, who's more of an idiot? The idiot or the person that falls for what the idiot is saying? You know, if you know a person is ignorant, you'd be ignorant to fall for it. So just let it go. You know? People put blame on you and you haven't done anything. The only person's love that you need is God. So if you sit in your prayer and God is with you, the Spirit and your friends and those whom you love are with you, then it doesn't matter what people are saying because the truth is in your heart. I'm not preaching at you, but I'm just saying. The truth is what matters between you and the Spirit. The whole world can be against you, but it doesn't matter if you're with yourself. I often say to people that it's the job of the world to put us down, but it's the job of yourself to love yourself. No matter who's against you, if you love yourself, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to stay for another couple of minutes on this subject of stress and the mind and body. If there's any questions, then let me know. Nako, is there anything that's come into your mind? Any questions that you have of stress and the mind and body connection? Do let me know. Oh, thank you, Nisha. Thank you. Yeah, good.
Do you have a go-to thing that people can use in their everyday life when they feel like their stress is building?
So Nake is asking me if there's a go-to mechanism that I have for when I feel stress building. It's a really good question. I think for the public, I would say the best thing to do is the Trinity breath for the public. So the best thing I would say if you feel stress building in your life is to do the slow breathing exercise. We breathe in for 3 seconds, hold for 3 seconds, and exhale for 3 seconds. And if you just do that 12 times in a row, I promise you that after the 12th time, if you've done it with concentration, you will feel clearer and better. For me, it's wisdom. For me, when I see myself building up with stress or anger, it's always objectivity. I'll always mentally disappear to the back of my head and look at the situation from the outside in and try to see objectively what's going on, what the person's gone through, what the person's done for me, how nice the person generally is before you kind of accuse someone of one thing when they're generally better. So I think being objective is one of the best ways to get away from stress. And the other thing that I'll say before I finish here with regards to stress is you'll be surprised how much stress you alleviate by being organized. I think a lot of people's stress is because things aren't in order in their work, in their home, in their minds. They're disorganized mentally. If you've got things in areas and boxed off and ready to deal with at different times. It could be lists that helps you. It could be areas on your desk. It could be just having a clean desk. Organization is like the alleviation of stress beforehand. Organization, planning, and preparation is the alleviation of stress before it happens. Okay, so maybe that's the thing that you take away today, is planning alleviates stress. Let's give 3 things. Planning and organization alleviates stress, forgiveness alleviates stress, and meditation. So planning in advance, organization, that's one thing, meditation, and forgiveness. How I done that with my fingers, I don't know. Yogi fingers. 3 things that alleviate stress. And mental stress disappearing is going to be great for your body, for your liver, for your organs. Remember, if you're doing yoga, try to forgive somebody as you're exhaling into a posture. Try to let go of things as you're exhaling into postures, and you'll find yourself stretching much, much better. This video will now eventually go up onto Facebook for you to watch later, and we'll download it and put it on YouTube for you to watch later as well. But thank you very much for paying attention today, and I hope you have a stress-free, healthy and peaceful rest of the week, and I will speak and see you all again soon. Namaste.